centrifugal governor, it is basically classified into two types: pendulum type and loaded type. Two types of centrifugal governors: pendulum type and loaded type. Pendulum type, there is only one governor which is of pendulum type, which is called Watt governor, which is the simplest form of the governor. Watt governor. Okay. Loaded type, it is further classified into two categories depending upon how you put load on the sleeve. So based on this, we have two types: dead weight governor and spring control governor. Dead weight governor and speed control governor. In dead weight governor, we have two types: Porter governor and Royal governor. And in spring control governor, we have four types: Hartnell governor, Hutton governor, Wilson Hartnell governor, and Pickering governor. Okay. Now, out of these all governors, in our syllabus, we have to study two types of governor, that is Porter governor and Hartnell governor. These two governors are in our syllabus. We are going to study them in detail. Porter governor belongs to category deadweight governor, whereas Hartnell governor belongs to category spring controlled governor. Now I pause here for a while and I request you, I ask you to draw this tree diagram. Please draw it fast. I give you 2-3 minutes. In 2-3 minutes, please draw this diagram. If in examination you are asked to write about classification of centrifugal governor, you must draw this tree diagram. Please draw the diagram. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. Let us understand how does the centrifugal governor work. This diagram I explained you yesterday also. Once again I explain you in brief. You see this pendulum, it consists of, you see this governor, it consists of four links. The upper links are called arms, the lower links are called links. Okay, and fly balls are attached between links and arms. Okay, now this spindle of the governor gets drive from engine through this bevel gear. Okay, so what happens as the engine speed increases, the governor speed also increases. This is the case when the load on the engine is decreased. Okay, now as the governor speed increases, the fly ball will move away from the spindle, and in such case the sleeve will be lifted up. This sleeve will be lifted up, and through this bell crank lever, this moment of the sleeve is transmitted to the throttle wall of the engine. Okay, now as the sleeve is lifted up, the throttle wall is closed so that the supply of working fluid is reduced. This reduces the engine speed back to the normal speed. Similarly, when the engine is, because of increase in the load, when the engine speed decreases, the speed of governor spindle also decreases. Therefore, speed of rotation of fly ball also decreases. This makes the fly ball to move in. Therefore, the sleeve falls. Right? Again, the moment of this sleeve is transmitted through bell crank lever to the throttle wall to open the throttle wall. As the throttle wall is opened, the supply of working fluid increases, and this increases the engine speed to the normal speed. This way, this centrifugal governor works. Now, why it is called centrifugal governor? The reason is that the centrifugal force causes the balls to move in and out. So it is the centrifugal force which is ultimately causing the control of supply of working fluid. That's why the name given is centrifugal governor. Okay. Now you see in this particular ये जो configuration आप देख रहे हैं, this configuration of links and arms, it is called conical pendulum. It is called conical pendulum. So it is actually what you see in the diagram is conical pendulum or pendulum type governor. It is pendulum type governor. It is not having any load on the sleeve, neither a dead weight nor spring, right? Therefore, it is nothing but weight governor. It is weight governor. Pendulum type governor, not having any load on the sleeve. Okay. Now, having understood the working of centrifugal governor, let us move to the further slides. Okay. To have clear understanding, we'll watch some videos. Okay, as this is experimental setup, this governor is run by a motor. You can see the gear head below the spindle. Okay, so which drives the spindle. As this is experimental setup, it is driven by a motor. In practice, the governor is driven by engine. This is Porter type governor. Porter type governor comes under loaded governor. So you see on the sleeve, you can see a dead weight. On the sleeve, you see this is a dead weight. This dead weight was not there in previous diagram that I explained you just now, right? So this is a dead weight governor, that is Porter governor. Now let us see another type of governor.
There's no such thing as perfect writing, but there is a way to sound the best you can. Let's talk about Grammarly, the digital writing assistant more than 20 million people use to connect their ideas.
This is Hartnell governor.
Welcome to video tutorials of me Connors Muller.
You notice how does
A
the
Hartnell governor is a spring-loaded governor as shown in here. It consists of two bell crank levers pivoted at 2 points on the frame shown by two circles. Please notice that, in the animation, the frame is not rotating. This is because I wanted to make connection points of the balls visible. However, the frame is attached to the governor spindle and therefore rotates with it. Each lever carries a ball at the end of the vertical arm and a roller at the end of the horizontal arm. You can observe in here how the roller move in and out when rotation speed change. A helical spring in compression provides equal downward forces on the two rollers through the collar on the sleeve. The spring force may be adjusted by screwing a nut up or down on the sleeve.
Okay, now you notice this is the sleeve. Above the sleeve, what we have is a spring. This spring tension can be adjusted by this screw on the top. Okay, so we can adjust the speed at which the sleeve will begin to rise by adjusting the tension of this spring. If you increase the tension of this spring by tightening the screw, the sleeve will begin to rise at higher speed. If you reduce the tension of this spring by loosening the screw on the top, then the sleeve will begin to rise at higher speed. So at what speed the sleeve begins to rise, that you can adjust by adjusting this adjusting screw. This adjusts the spring tension. Now one difference you notice from the previous video, here the balls are not mounted on a conical pendulum. Like you don't have arms and links the way you have in Porter Governor. Rather, you have a bell crank lever, that is a horizontal link and a vertical link. And the ball is mounted at the end of bell crank lever. Plus, one more difference from Porter Governor. On Porter Governor, we have a dead load on the sleeve. Whereas in Hartnell Governor, we have a spring on the sleeve. So here the spring is the sleeve is loaded by the spring. In Porter Governor, the sleeve is loaded by dead weight. That is the difference between Porter Governor and Hartnell Governor.
Hartnell governor rotation speed is in between 500 and 600 rpm, and by utilizing smaller fly balls and fewer parts, due to this the internal friction is less than that of others. The control valve either reduces or increases steam admission to the engine as required. When the steam engine increase its speed, possibly due to reduced loading of the engine, the fly balls would be forced out by centrifugal force, thus moving the sleeve against, as in this case.
This is the maximum speed, right? And this will happen when the load is low. The speed will be maximum. You see the balls are out. The sleeve has moved up. And you see, in order to bring the speed to the working speed, the throttle wall is made to close.
Case, spring tension. As the fly balls move out, the central sleeve would be forced upwards. This in turn move the bell crank, valve rod and control valve in the correct direction to minimize steam flow. Therefore decrease the speed back to its normal operating speed. Hartnell governor had better stability due to its strong spring. It is sensitive to speed change due to its high speed. Much less try to find the correct speed without overshooting. And the fly balls move roughly in a straight line parallel to the ground.
Okay, I hope you understood the working of both Porter Governor as well as Hartnell Governor. Please respond in the chat section. Did you understand? Okay. Thank you. Now, Let us move to the next slide. These are the terms used in governors. There are 5 terms that we must be familiar with. First is the height of governor. Now, what is the height of governor? It is the vertical distance from center of ball to a point where the axis of arms intersect the spindle axis. I will show all this in diagram. I'll show all this in diagram. Okay. Then we have equilibrium speed. Equilibrium speed is the speed at which arms, balls, etc. are in equilibrium, and sleeve does not tend to move upward or downward. Then we have mean equilibrium position. This is the equilibrium speed at which the sleeve is in the mean position. And then we have maximum and minimum equilibrium speed. The speed at maximum and minimum radius of rotation of balls without tending to move either way are known as maximum and minimum equilibrium speed. Then we have sleeve lift. It is a vertical distance moved by the sleeve due to change in equilibrium speed. Okay, again I instruct you to write all these 5 definitions. I give you a few minutes. You write this definition and then, okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay.
So 2 minutes more.
You want to write?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I wait for 2 more minutes.
Done.
Okay, we move to the next slide. Let us see, just for introduction, I am showing you the word governor. It is not there in our syllabus. Okay, let us understand what is the radius of rotation, what is the height of the governor. You see, we just wrote that height of the governor is nothing but distance of vertical distance between the center of ball to the point where the spindle, where the links intersect with the spindle of governor, spindle axis, where the links are pivoted or where the links intersect with the spindle axis. So the vertical distance between point P and the center of ball is governor height h. Okay. Now, what is radius of rotation? Radius of rotation is nothing but the distance from center of ball, from axis of rotation. This spindle axis is actually axis of rotation. So the distance of center of ball from axis of rotation is radius of rotation. Now, what is the equilibrium speed? To see that equilibrium speed, we'll go back to this video. At this particular speed, the sleeve does not tend to move either upward or downward. The balls does not tend to move either inward or outward. That means balls, arms and sleeves, they are in equilibrium. They does not tend to change their position. So such speed of the governor is called equilibrium speed. This is one of the equilibrium speeds. Okay. Now what is the maximum equilibrium speed? It is simply the equilibrium speed at which the radius of rotation is maximum. For minimum equilibrium speed, the radius of rotation will be minimum. Radius of rotation will be minimum, right? And in equilibrium, when we say equilibrium speed, that means sleeve does not tend to move in either way, either upward or downward. Okay. Now, what is the sleeve lift? Sleeve lift is nothing but this vertical distance followed by the sleeve. Variation of the speed. You see, as the speed is varied, the sleeve is moving. So the vertical distance traveled by the sleeve due to speed change is nothing but sleeve lift. So these are the terminology that we need to know. Now Porter governor. Have a look at this diagram. This is a diagram of Porter governor. So what we have four links. The upper links are called arms. The lower links are called links, right? You notice the arms are pivoted on the spindle axis, whereas the links are pivoted, may be pivoted offset from spindle axis. It may be pivoted on spindle axis or it may be pivoted offset from spindle axis. This is the central load. We call it dead load, dead weight, or central load capital W. Okay, this is acting on the sleeve. Now on the right side, what you see is the free body diagram of the left half of the Porter governor. So we have shown point P, ball, center of the ball B, and point D, where the link is pivoted to the sleeve. Okay. Now alpha is the angle made by arms with the vertical. Beta is the angle made by link or lower link with the vertical. Okay. Now let us see what are the forces acting on this Porter governor. At point P, at point B, that is the center of the ball, we have centrifugal forces acting. As the ball is rotating, it will be acted upon by a force away from the center. We call it centrifugal force, Fc, and whose formula is mr omega square, where r is radius of rotation. Again, another force is the weight of the ball itself, that is small w, acting vertically downward. Now there are two links attached to the ball, upper link and lower link. Tension in the upper link we take T1, tension in the lower link we take T2. So at point B we have four forces acting: centrifugal force Fc, weight of the ball W, tension in upper link T1, tension in lower link T2. At point D we have two forces acting. You see the total central load W is acting on the sleeve, right? So by symmetry, half of the load will be acting at point D. So this load is W by 2. W by 2. This is the half of the load of central weight. Okay. Second force is tension T2 in the link. So these are the two forces acting at point D. Now having understood this diagram, okay, we will do the derivation of Porter governor in the next lecture. Now I will request you to draw the left right side diagram, free body diagram, because we are going to start with the derivation in the next lecture. I'll give you 2 minutes. Draw a free hand diagram. फ्री हैंड डायग्राम बनाइए, सिंपल डायग्राम, ठीक है, जो फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम है उसका फ्री हैंड डायग्राम बनाइए.